Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today, we bring you a story full of surprises and hidden angles that few people know about. Don't leave just yet. Just when you think you've figured it all out, there are fascinating and meaningful details waiting for you at the end of the video. Let's explore together and uncover the special message this video has for you. Are you ready? Let's get started. Today's sponsor, Ground News, is without a doubt one of the most powerful tools I use to step back, analyze media bias, and form my own well-rounded perspectives. But we'll delve into that a bit later. From afar, the castle looms like a flickering candle on the verge of being snuffed out, surrendering to the encroaching shadows. Its master, a lord named Yudono, presides over a fortress shrouded in impending doom. Meanwhile, the clan he serves holds captive the wife and son of a rising military leader, later known as Tokugawa Ieyasu. Unseen and unheard, Ieyasu's forces close in on the castle, ensuring Yudono's fate is sealed. The guards are struck down with such precision and quiet that the defenders suspect treachery from within their own ranks. The attackers set the fortress ablaze, plunging the garrison into chaos as smoke and panic overwhelm their senses. Yudono's forces are annihilated, his head taken as a trophy, and his two sons captured. This bold maneuver provides Ieyasu with the leverage he needs, exchanging noble hostages for the release of his family. He commends the operatives behind the mission, who later accounts identify as Shinobi, a term that would evolve in the 20th century into the iconic image of the ninja. In truth, medieval Japan's shinobi were not a defined warrior class, but rather practitioners of stealth and subterfuge. Their roles were fluid, adapting to the grim demands of an era fraught with violence. By the late 15th century, Japan's central authority had crumbled, leaving power in the hands of regional warlords and warriors capable of seizing it. Among these warlords, figures like Oda Nobunaga sought to unify the fractured land through sheer force. However, as armies clashed, the arts of secrecy and stealth became essential. Shinobi often operated in plain sight, disguised as traveling entertainers, merchants, or even poets, gathering critical intelligence within enemy territories. Samurai and common soldiers alike were sometimes employed for covert missions, demonstrating remarkable patience and cunning. Records tell of warriors hiding in tall grass for hours, waiting to ambush their unsuspecting enemies. These stealth operatives, known as kusa or shinobi, would spring forth, block escape routes, and strike with lethal efficiency. Such skills were not confined to noble warriors. Even bandits and rogues found their talents co-opted by pragmatic lords. Some warlords enlisted these outlaws, turning their criminal expertise into a fearsome asset in battle. The collapse of order had transformed Japan's forests and mountains into sanctuaries for brigands, whose mastery of stealth instilled both admiration and dread. One Hojo clan member warned against complacency, advising vigilance even in the coldest months when shinobi were unlikely to strike unless under moonlit skies. The warning underscored the ever-present danger of infiltration, urging rotating watchmen and heightened defenses. As Japan's civil wars ravaged the land, Oda Nobunaga emerged as a dominant force. Commanding tens of thousands of samurai and soldiers, including divisions armed with Portuguese arquebus introduced in 1543, he sought to consolidate power. Yet his ambitions required navigating the rugged, fiercely independent regions of Koka and Iga, governed not by warlords but by confederacies of jisamurai, rural samurai deeply connected to the common people. These areas were bastions of guerrilla warfare and espionage. It was fighters from Koka who carried out the assault on Yudono's castle, using their finely honed skills in secrecy and sabotage. As Nobunaga pressed onward, the warriors of Iga and Koka rallied to defend their lands. But even their remarkable resilience could only delay the inevitable tide of conquest. Oda Nobunaga dismantles the remnants of the central shogunate, and to mark the new year of 1574, he displays the gilded skulls of his vanquished foes, a macabre proclamation of his dominance. Following this display, Nobunaga eradicates the Koka Confederacy. By 1579, his son launches an invasion of Iga, seeking retribution for their defiance and earlier victories against his father's forces. Yet, IGA's spies are a step ahead, tracking the enemy's movements. Their warriors ambush thousands of invaders in rocky passes, rice fields, and valleys, leaving a trail of carnage. Enraged by his son's catastrophic failure, Nobunaga reprimands him harshly, declaring, "This is unspeakable." Such ineptitude breaks the bond between parent and child. Determined to settle the matter himself, Nobunaga mobilizes an army of 60,000, advancing on IGA from 6 directions. This is vengeance on an apocalyptic scale. The invaders methodically destroy the land, torch homes, and massacre entire families of IGA's warriors. Forts fall, Buddhist temples burn, and bodies, priests and commoners alike, are piled high like grotesque autumn leaves scattered in mourning. When a key castle is captured by his son's forces, Nobunaga arrives to survey the devastation. A later account describes 3 IGA Shinobi launching a desperate counterattack, using small cannons to kill several of Nobunaga's companions. Though Nobunaga survives, resistance dwindles. The final bastion, Kashiwara Castle, becomes a focal point of defiance. Surrounded and outnumbered, the IGA defenders employ shinobi tactics, disguising themselves as beggars to plant torches and create the illusion of a large pursuing force. Though the ruse is discovered, they persist, descending into enemy camps night after night, wreaking havoc with fire and blade. But starvation takes its toll, and the garrison ultimately surrenders. IGA is divided among Nobunaga's generals, and the surviving warriors retreat into the shadows, their legacy destined for legend. Even as Nobunaga falls to betrayal the following year, the dream of a unified Japan continues, realized by leaders like Tokugawa Ieyasu. With peace comes a decline in battlefield heroics and shinobi operations. In the aftermath of IGA and Koka's remarkable resistance, their true history became inseparably entwined with myth. Stories began to circulate about enigmatic ninja clans, renowned for their unmatched abilities and shrouded in secrecy. These tales painted a vivid image of assassins dressed in black, masters of stealth and deception. Over time, scholars have debated the historical accuracy of such accounts, questioning whether these ninjas truly existed as described, or if they were merely romanticized depictions of spies, warriors, and poets skilled in covert operations. As one pair of researchers suggests, these individuals, often drawn from varied backgrounds, were unified by their expertise in irregular warfare. It was only through the lens of later interpretations that they were collectively labeled as ninja, their historical reality remaining as elusive as the myths surrounding them. The tactics attributed to these figures were not without precedent. Some commanders drew inspiration from ancient Chinese military texts, such as Sun Tzu's The Art of War, which emphasized strategy, deception, and stealth. Interestingly, this historical connection reflects a broader pattern of interaction between Japan and China, 2 nations whose strategic ties persist even today. Yet, despite their significance, these relationships often go unnoticed, overshadowed by the selective narratives of mainstream media. This lack of coverage is unsurprising, given how a limited number of influential outlets often shape public discourse with clear biases. To address this challenge, I've turned to Ground News, a platform that aggregates stories from around the world while providing critical context often missing in mainstream coverage. For example, take a recent article about leadership discussions between Japan and China. Through Ground News, I discovered that of the 30 related articles, 96% originated from center or right-leaning sources, exposing a potential blind spot in left-leaning media. The platform highlights these disparities, presenting viewpoints from Japanese government statements alongside coverage from corporate and independent outlets. This comprehensive perspective allows for a clearer understanding of the broader narrative, helping me grasp the complexity of such events. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. If you found this story interesting and meaningful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any exciting content coming up. Leave a comment to share your thoughts. We're eager to hear from you. See you in the upcoming videos with more unique and meaningful stories. Stay with us.